This is the 6th video in our series, looking at how you set up and configure a Synology NAS running DSM7 Manager 7. In our previous video, we connected to our NAS for the first time and then installed DSM7 Manager. However, while our NAS is now up and running, we have not yet configured the hard drives in our NAS so that they're able to act as storage. So in this video, we're going to run through the Create Storage Pool and Volume wizard that appears after we first install DSM7 Manager. Let's start by decluttering the DSM desktop by minimizing the system health and the resource monitor widgets. By default, the Create Storage Pool and Volume wizard will continue to appear until we have created areas on our hard drive that we can use to store files and install packages. For future reference, packages are Synology's name for applications and services that can be downloaded and installed onto our NAS. Let's select Create Now. As we discussed in one of our earlier videos, in order to use the hard drives that we've installed into our NAS, we need to create storage pools and volumes. While Synology's description is very clear, let's quickly run through what we will be doing on our NAS. It is our intention to use something called Synology Hybrid RAID, which is a way to group multiple drives together and create custom storage spaces which use something called redundancy. Redundancy is simply a way to protect our data should one of the drives in our NAS fail. However, in order to use redundancy, our NAS needs to know which drives have been grouped together, which is why we have to create a storage pool. While we have installed two 4TB hard drives into our NAS, which potentially could give us 8TB of storage, as we intend to use redundancy, we will only have 4TB of usable storage space. However, if we were to add a third 4TB hard drive to our storage pool, not only will we continue to have redundancy should a drive fail, but we will also increase the total storage capacity of our NAS from 4TB to 8. If we select Start, we're provided with information about something called RAID, or Redundant Array of Inexpensive Disks. As you can see from the description, Synology recommend that we use SHR or Synology Hybrid RAID. We are also provided with information about how many drives we will need to use in order to get SHR working, along with the level of drive fault tolerance SHR will give us. While we will be using SHR, if we select the drop-down menu, you can see that we have a number of different configurations that we can use if we choose to. While we've already discussed RAID and SHR in a previous video, we did not discuss BASIC or JBOD, so let's try and quickly explain what they are. BASIC simply means that each individual drive in our NAS will become its own storage pool, so none of our storage pools will have redundancy or be able to expand in size if we were to add a drive to our NAS. JBOD is an alternative method to combine at least two drives to create a storage pool. However, its main advantage over SHR or RAID is that it will allow us to combine two drives of different sizes without losing any storage capacity. So for example, if we have two drives of 10TB and 8TB, and we were to use SHR, we would only get 8TB of usable storage space. However, if we were to use JBOD, we would get 18TB of usable storage space, but no redundancy. So if one of our drives should fail, our data will be lost. In the option Storage Pool Description, we can give our storage pool a name, which is very handy if we intend to have more than one storage pool on our NAS. However, as we currently only intend to have one storage pool, we will leave this option blank. Let's choose Next. We are now asked to select the drives that we wish to use in our storage pool. As you can see, we have two 4TB drives, so let's select both of them and then choose Next. In order to help protect our data from becoming corrupted, Drive Check will look for and isolate areas on our hard drives that appear to be defective. While it's probably better to leave Perform Drive Check enabled, as this will more quickly tell us if our new hard drives are faulty, it will slow down the initialization of our drives, so we've decided to choose Skip Drive Check. When we select Next, we're asked to allocate the capacity of our volume. One of the advantages of RAID and SHR is that it gives us flexibility to create storage pools that have multiple volumes of varying size. While this feature could be very useful in a business environment, where you might want to control different departments' storage usage, for home users, this feature is less useful, so we will create a single volume that uses the total storage capacity that we have. To do this, we need to use the Modify Allocated Size field, which is a mandatory field we need to fill in before we can continue. As you can see, in Modified Allocated Field Size, we're using the figure from the Available Capacity field. However, it is easier to simply select the Max button. Let's choose Next. We now need to select the file system our volume will use. As you can see, we're being offered a choice of two different file types. However, you might find that on your model of NAS, you're only given one. The first option is BTRFS, which is a modern file system with features that are designed to protect and restore our data. However, as this protection has an overhead, which requires higher CPU usage, if our NAS has a low-powered CPU, BTRFS may not be displayed as an option. We then have ext4, which is a file system more widely favored by Linux. While ext4 has fewer features than BTRFS, ext4's main advantage is that it has a reputation for being both reliable and stable. For example, if the power goes out on our NAS, there is a higher chance that ext4 will have kept our saved data safe. However, as there's no right or wrong answer as to which file system you should be using, your decision will come down to if you value stability and reliability over advanced features such as snapshots and data replication. When we select Next, we are given a summary of the choices that we've made. If we now choose Apply, we're first warned that all data on our hard drives will be erased. By selecting OK, our drives are initialized and we're taken to Storage Manager. As we will be looking at Storage Manager in more depth in a future video, for now we're simply going to monitor the status of our drives as they are turned into a volume. Let's select Overview. As you can see, within Overview, the status of our drives are displayed, and we're informed that our data is being checked and synced. We are also given an estimate as to how long this process will take. However, as we have relatively low capacity hard drives, our volume was ready after roughly 1 minute. So to summarize, in this video, we took a look at the process for creating a volume and storage pool on our NAS. However, along the way, we also tried to explain some of the terminology and what sort of implications choosing specific options might have. In the next video in this series, we're going to take a tour of the DiskStation Manager desktop.